Hello everyone, my name is Loko and welcome to some more StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today I got a game for you that I played a little while back, and it's gonna be a game versus none other than Emperor, who is going to be the Protoss player on the other side of the map. Now, in Legacy of the Void, there is the one thing that Zerg players are rejoicing all over the world about, because basically you can now take out a maxed out Protoss army with a maxed out Zerg army. At least for the most part, this seems to be true. Whereas in like Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty, you would have to like remake army over and over and over again and just sort of like throw the army at them and hope you kill off a bunch of the spellcasters. Right now you actually can make a legitimate army that will be able to at the very least like withstand most of the Protoss force, and even though you will have to reinforce some, you can actually now deal some good damage to them. I mean, there's one very good reason for that, and that is going to be the Ultralisk. The Ultralisk right now is extremely powerful. It has a lot of armor, so that means pretty much everything that a Protoss has will not kill it fast enough. But there's one thing that I've been struggling a lot with myself on the ladder, and that is going to be Protoss Air. Protoss Air is extremely powerful if they manage to max out with it, especially with a couple of High Templars on the ground to sort of like feed back your Vipers. And in this video I want to go over the ways you can try and beat that army composition, as well as ways that you can try and you know, you can probably also use this strategy actually in Heart of the Swarm, but also ways you can sort of put pressure on the Protoss and not allow them to be maxed out for a very long time. So here's the thing, right? Once Protoss players get a maxed out air army, it is extremely it's not impossible, but extremely difficult to actually win at that point. However, in Legacy of the Void, we have a new unit, or well, we have an old unit with a new ability known as the Viper. Viper right now has the option to have Parasitic Bomb, and basically what it does, it throws down a Parasitic Bomb ability, the spell, on top of an opponent's air unit, only air units, no ground units, and basically it will deal damage to all of the army around that one air unit. So what happens is you can, for example, you know, throw it on one of the Void Rays. One of the Void Rays is going to be affected by it, but all of the Void Rays surrounding that one Void Ray are also going to be hit. Now apparently you can be hitting the Parasitic Bomb ability on the actual interceptors that come out of a carrier, but for whatever reason I don't have very much luck with doing that. I've tried different methods. I've tried the rapid fire method and all the kind of different ways, but for some reason it seems very unreliable. I don't know if they maybe even deleted it out of the game. But the one thing that I've been having trouble with is as soon as they have like a massive army with those air units, so that's carriers, Void Rays, Phoenix, Oracle, all those kind of things, and then add on High Templars, because they will be able to feed back the Vipers that I got. Now, I've been struggling against that for about 2 weeks or so, and then someone in the live stream, in the stream chat, pointed out, well, isn't that Protoss army extremely immobile? I mean, carriers are not a very fast unit whatsoever, and that's where things started changing a little bit. So in this specific game, my opponent is gonna play a very passive strategy. I'm gonna play a very passive strategy as well, knowing that I don't actually need to be very aggressive. I will do a little bit of Hydra damage if I'm not mistaken, but I'm mainly just gonna sit back for the most part of the game, and I'm gonna try and just get a big army out that I can use to eventually beat out my Protoss opponent. So I am doing some scouting right now, trying to figure out what is going on, and I see, okay, there is a cannon, I can go for a third base, there is a nexus down, and it's all looking very standard, very Heart of the Swarm-ish, I guess you can say. So I did go for an early Zergling speed, just so I can have some Zerglings out versus the potential Adept aggression, which is quite common right now. And just in the meantime, I already saw that he was going for the Stargate. I'm also going to be adding on some of these Spore Crawlers, so I can, you know, counter what is going to come out of that thing. Now, I don't know if he's going to go Void Ray, don't know if he's going to go Oracle, but honestly, one Spore Crawler on every base is going to be worth it every single time. And in the meantime, I will be able to keep on droning up, I will be able to get my third base up and going, and I will be able to, most importantly, start transitioning towards the +1/+1 upgrades. Now, even though there's a big chance right now on the ladder that your opponents are going to be playing air, because it is so extremely powerful, I would still recommend going for the melee upgrades. And the reason for that is because of the immobility of the Protoss army. We are gonna try and not engage them head on. Well, maybe we will engage them head on once or twice, just to maybe kill a base or something like that. But for the most part, we want to try and run them around with Zerglings, with Adrenal Glands, and with the chitinous plating upgrades on the Ultralisk, and obviously the Adrenal Glands on the Zerglings. You can nuke down bases much faster than the Protoss player can actually get over there. Obviously, they can go ahead and use, you know, the recharge ability or the recall ability on the Mothership core, but even then, if you aggressively like attack in multiple directions and approach the different spread out Protoss bases with the Zerglings and the Ultralisk, you actually don't even have to engage that massive Protoss air army, because you can simply just kill everything they have, you know, by simply counterattacking non-stop. So that's the idea right here. Now, obviously, I am gonna have to kill that Protoss army at some point. If I don't, he will just simply go for the counterattack, and he will be able to clean up all of my bases, and since I can't kill his army, he's obviously going to be able to, you know, win that base race. But what I'm gonna try and do is basically do a lot of damage to him as much as possible, but for the most part I want to try and avoid him for getting a big economy up. And with a big economy right now, in Heart of the Swarm I would say 3 bases is a big one, but right now Heart of the Swarm is not really, or Legacy of the Void, that is not really the case. You can definitely allow them to get 3 bases up, but 4 bases is where I'm trying to make sure that my opponent is gonna be halted. I don't want him to get the 4th base up in mining, or at least not for very long, because at that point it's gonna be really difficult to do anything. Now, as you can see, I've already got +1/+1 about to finish up. I already got the upgrade for my Hydralisk to finish up as well, which right now is both the ranged upgrade as well as the movement speed upgrade. And I'm gonna try my very hardest to go for a very quick lair, or a very quick hive rather. So you can see, before the 11-minute mark, I already started up my hive. And, you know, I've just been playing very greedy myself, been droning up. Now, in Heart of the Swarm, this would be an enormous issue already. But because of the fact that we can make lurkers and all these kind of things, Protoss players started playing a little bit more passive because they don't like fighting against that Zerg style. So here we go. You can already see he's starting up the carrier production right there on the production tab. More Stargates are being added on as well. So he is going for this massive army. Now I am doing these little tiny timing attacks as well. Main reason why I'm moving out right now with my Hydra force is not so much to try and win the game or try and kill a base of his, but mostly just try and keep his army smaller than it is right now. If I can take an even trade with this and I have a bigger economy to back it up, eventually that will give me an advantage. So I'm just trying to sort of like make his army smaller, and that way I will allow myself to get the 4th base up and mining. At least that's in theory what I'm looking for right here. And I'm trying to just, you know, trade the army relatively okay, while I am taking up to a hive, while I'm getting +2/+2, and while I'm getting my 4th base up and mining. So right now I've already analyzed the situation, okay? I know for a fact that my opponent is not going to be moving out for another while, for the simple reason that, you know, he's playing carriers, he's going to go mass air, very uncommon to do anything. So I'm going to get my Ultralisk Cavern up very, very rapidly. There we go, going to get my Ultralisk Cavern. I already got Adrenal Glands on the way. Now real quick, okay, about the upgrade changes. This used to be a +18% attack speed, right now it's a +40% attack speed, which makes Zerglings incredibly powerful. And the Ultralisk Chitinous Plating upgrade, instead of +2, now actually gives you +4 armor. So that means that all of a sudden, your Ultralisk and your Zergling composition will be a lot more powerful. Now on top of that, I'm also adding on those Vipers. And the Vipers are obviously going to be used mainly for the Parasitic Bomb ability that I do want to try and weaken his army with. Now, I should honestly be scouting around a lot more. I'm not playing this even remotely perfect. This is one of the first times I'm actually actively giving this a try. Ever since playing this game, I've actually lost very few games to this style. Yeah, I should definitely be more aggressive about scouting right now. Really no reason for me not to. But I want to get a couple of Vipers out, want to get my Chitinous Plating out, and I want to start pushing across the map very shortly, once I have a sizable army. So first Ultras right there in the production tab, and as you can see, my opponent is starting on the Dark Shrine, and very shortly he will also be putting in the High Templars into the game, which will make it very difficult for me to land those Parasitic Bombs. So here's the ability, by the way, on the Parasitic, or on the Viper Parasitic Bomb right there. 100 energy. Very, very powerful, and you can deal a crazy amount of damage with them. Now, good Protoss players will not stack up their army, okay? They will make sure that they have spread out their Protoss area army to make sure that they will not, you know, take all that clumped up damage. But obviously, you know, you still need to try your very hardest to deny those kind of scouts. So, here we go. I got my Ultralisks finishing up. I got my +3 on the way right now as well. Actually, not getting +3 armor. I don't know if oh yeah, there we go. I'm starting it up right there. I got a little bit worried for myself. But right now I know, okay, my opponent is going for a 4th base. And there is what I'm cutting the line. I really don't want him to get that 4th base up. And this is where I once again want to try and trade. But mainly I want to try and get a kill on that base. Not sure if I will be able to get it. Yeah, actually moving back right there for no apparent reason. I think I could have gotten that base. Yeah, I could have totally gotten that base with the Zerglings. Adrenal Glands is done. You could see how much damage they already dealt. But I think I'm waiting for couple more Hydras to join this fight. Yeah, so more and more Hydras on the production tab. So after this fight, oh, there's with DTs, by the way. After this fight, I'm gonna follow it up completely with only Zerglings, and well, afterwards I will also start adding High Templars and all that sort of stuff again, or Ultras and Hydras and all that sort of stuff again. But I'm mainly looking right here to try and deal the damage to my opponent by simply trading his army effectively, making it so small that he can't really defend multiple places at once. And once that is the case, I'm gonna start running by with a lot of my army. So here we go. I am finally starting to move forward right here. I could have done that in the previous engagement as well. Running a couple of the Zerglings around, trying to avoid the High Templars, obviously. And I'm mainly just looking to clean up the ground army that he got. If I manage to kill all of these High Templars, I will be in a great position here. The High Templars are moving backwards. I am using a couple of the abilities, but the Ultralisk are going to town right now. Ultralisk, for whatever reason, are not animating, by the way. They're not slashing away. That is actually a bug in the replay. But I've managed to kill all of the High Templars, and this is great for me. This is great for me. A lot of Hydras followed, or a lot of Zerglings followed up right now on the production tab. And since my opponent already used the Interceptors, I know for a fact that he's not going to be moving out right now for at least a little while. So I am going to add on a couple more Ultras as well. I am going to add on a couple of the Hydralisk, but here is where the strategy really starts to shine. So instead of following this up with more and more anti-air, you actually follow it up with more and more units that will be able to kill bases. Now, wow, I actually sent my entire army home here like a total noob. These things though, wow, that is interesting to look at. That's awesome. So I do manage to clean up those High Templars, but right now I'm gonna start moving towards my opponent's bases. And I want to try and engage at as many angles as possible, knowing that my opponent will not be able to defend all of them. So, you know, tapping away a little bit right now at his fort base. Okay, I know for a fact his army is still there. Moving those guys back, getting some more energy on the Vipers. But in the meantime, my main army is at his third base. And he has no ways of actually defending this. Like if he warps in Zealots, my Zerglings with Adrenal Glands and +3 attack will just laugh at that. My Ultralisk obviously will also be powerful at that. And this is the reason why it is so strong. To do these counterattacks, Protoss simply cannot defend it. Protoss simply does not have a proper way of defending all of these different places at once. So right now I'm trying to guide his army away from the fort base, trying to sort of guilt trip him into not losing his fort base, even though I didn't have a Zergling run-by, you know, ready to go. I probably should have tried that. But right now, I got a very strong army once again. I know that my opponent's army is slowly but surely dwindling away, and I will be able to engage this army a lot easier right now, trying to kill all of these things at the same time as I'm moving in with my Ultras, trying to hit the upgrades right there, or trying to hit the Parasitic Bomb as well, and my opponent is called out in the open. As long as I target fire down, though, I really need to do that. Oh my god, Lurker, start target firing. I will be able to take out most of these forces. Once again, following it up with more and more more and more Hydralisk, and just trying to deal with it. Now, this same strategy, by the way, also applies when you try and go for Corruptors. Works just the same way. But yeah, Ultralisk armor is pretty insane. He won't really be able to deal with this at all, and these Ultralisk just sort of slide into that fort base and kill it completely. And the nice thing about it is, yeah, exactly, the High Templars are gone. As long as the High Templars are gone, my Vipers will be able to deal the damage. And, you know, at that point, I will be able to relatively easily take out this fight. So, waiting for a couple more Ultras to spawn. But I know right now that I am gonna have a relatively easy time cleaning this up. Vipers did manage to stay alive. And, yeah, this should be a victory right here. So, hopefully this at the very least, like, inspired a couple of you guys to also try out this counter-attacking strategy. Even though you don't face his army head-on, if you run the Protoss around for long enough, you will be able to just simply deny their economy, and they will not have enough army by the time this actual final engagement hits. Now, I probably should also start adding on some more queens just for the transfuse, but my opponent says, GG, well played, and I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, hit that like button. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And other than that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one.